Hello. Hello. Do we say Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas? That is the trick. Pleasure to have you all here. So many bots and a couple of people I know. My sound is very low. Okay, let's see if we can adjust that. No, not that one. Hey, thanks for joining us, Mental Sprue. It's been a while, my friend. Been a while. Yep, we've got a brand new mic, proper mics. So we're going to be playing around adjustments here. I'm very small and far away. That's actually because I'm in a different part of the country than you. That could possibly be it. Have it up max. Okay, there is going to be some sound issues, but we will hopefully work through them. There might be some experimentations as we go. OBS Studio. Yeah, this microphone's only installed today, once I was able to fight my way through to my painting area, which is unfortunately under a absolute barrage at the moment. So cleaning for Christmas meant everything went that way. Hey, what the matter with you? I don't need tech support right now. That'd be that'd be a bad idea. We'll see how bad it is and whether people can actually hear me or not. Make sure our phone is on silent because we're using that still as our camera. We do have an official mic. Ooh, the official mic. But I just need to figure out my sounds properly, figure out my settings, and see if we can hear things correctly. And more importantly, can other people hear things correctly?
For the Emperor?
Well, the sound effect seems to work. It's a very nice mic. I'm a big fan of it. It looks very fancy. But it in my ears, it sounds like it's picking up my heartbeat. So it feels like it's that close. So it's now trying to figure it out for everybody else. To figure out if I can get it to the right volume levels where people are not going to be deafened and they can actually hear things. So we'll see how that goes for us today. Yeah, I'm trying to see here what settings I can actually adjust. I want it to be just painting by now, but such is the way of a inexperienced streamer. So, Mental Sprue, are you going to be painting anything today? Or are you going to be doing something else? Hopefully you're not in work. We're in that strange in-between time. It's not Christmas, it's not New Year's. It's kind of nebulous. Well, one thing or the other, we're going to be painting. I saw your assembled Hellblaster squad, and I'm quite worried because I have to fight them. at some stage, and I don't want to do that. Hellblasters bring all the DACA, and I don't want to get shot in the face by it. Is my honest regard on it. Oh, good job on making a glaze. They're not too easy to do. Keeping them consistent is very hard. I do want to bring my Necrons again. They've not gotten enough. Well, nothing I have has gotten enough play. The last couple of times we fought, we just did random face smashing. So I want to do a bit more of a, let's do some missions and pull some cards and stuff like that. So I just need to redo this shoulder pad because I was not happy with how it was going last time. One of the great advantages of miniatures is you can just paint over them. Hey Emmanog, how you doing? Welcome in. Hopefully you can hear me. Smooth. I'm like smooth jazz. Welcome to ASMR Warpainting. See, I can hear everything in my ears, so I'm worried that you all can hear too much as well. I don't want to be blaring people with the sound of paint shaking or things like that. It's the last thing people need. 3 goops of paint and a 2 to 3 tin of Lamia medium seems to work. Yeah. Yes, Sprue, you have been getting in a lot more games than me lately, so you should know the rules next time I come down, and you can be in charge of all that. It won't be me. So we will see how we go next time. Right, we tried this last time I was on, but I managed to fail spectacularly at painting up some flames. So we did flames on 1. It came out fine. Nothing I was too excited to make. Wasn't quite liked our flow of flames. And then after that, I just turned around and we did all the brain. So we did all the leather pieces. Then we have to wait for the rest. Yeah, there are actually indeed rules to the games we play. Who knew? The festive season has been mostly okay. Mostly okay, with some sickness in the house, which is unfortunate. I think last year was the first year in a long time where we haven't had sickness in the house over Christmas. There's always somebody, unfortunately. It is usually my partner. She burns herself out and gets sick over Christmas. But we had some people over. We did a friend's Christmas swap. I've got some prezzies I'll show off as we go. How's your time been? Have we enjoyed our Christmas break? Hope we have. Hey, it's a Bizzle as well. How we doing, Bizzle? Alright, we're going to try do some more freehand. It did not succeed last time. I'm not going to say we failed, just didn't succeed. No need to be too negative about these things. I have a tendency to, I think most people do this, kind of expect things to go perfectly right first time they do them. And there's no point in expecting that. Even with things like this that I've painted so many freehand flames for this army by this stage. You can't expect even at that stage that things are going to go correctly. But that's okay. That's why last time we just pivoted and readjusted and went on to painting all the leather and bits and pieces like that. So how are you doing, Bizzle? Hopefully there'll be no sickness with you. You managed to heal up. You had an awful bout of it before Christmas. I'm glad to hear it, Biz. My other moderator is sending me WhatsApp messages. He's not actually on the stream, he's just sending me WhatsApp messages. Well, Biz, you can't work if you're dead. I don't think Morbo's on the stream. I think he's literally just WhatsApping me. You can just see it flashing up out of the corner of my eye on the camera. Like I don't quite have time to answer you, buddy. I'm a little busy. Who doesn't love a good nap? I suppose when you're grown up, there's two types of nap. There's a nap where you kind of you have a little grand little power nap. You wake up and you've got nothing to do and everything's grand. You get on with your day. Then there's a nap where you fall asleep without expecting it. You wake up and it's like 15 hours later. You don't know what's going on. Your head is in a state and you're like, yeah. I have to do what now? Naps are a thing that happen to other people, Mentalsbrew. It's for people who actually decide that rest is a worthwhile pursuit. Oh, the camera went. Bold camera. It's done it again. How dare it. You were just getting into a flow there. Speaking maximum waffle. Don't know what happened there. I now associate LL Cool J with my stream. Don't know why. Maybe you should try one of these elusive nap things, Mental Sprue. Might change your whole outlook. Man, you gotta be one of those don't knock till you try things, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do just one shoulder pad at a time. April is a good month. If you're going to fall asleep and wake up in a month, you know, April's not a bad choice. Some people, some wonderful, amazing people, have birthdays in April, so they should, it's a good time to wake up. Not all of us live by osmosis and 2 hours sleep a night. I just did a classic mistake there. When you're putting pressure on the brush, never go past the ferrule, because I just pressed down on the actual bristles themselves and then they kind of split, which is a terribly bad thing to happen, especially on good brushes. You have to get some brush control. Don't call it. When are you streaming next, Eminog? For those of you that don't know, Eminog there, my moderator, streams a much more dynamic, a lot more going on in her streams because she plays a wide variety of different games. Some like witch core games. They all seem to live in cottages, but then go on wacky adventures. While Emmy takes all the dialogue up the wrong way on purpose. You innocent. There's nothing innocent about you, my dear. Not at all, darling. Yeah, anytime I can hear myself slightly in a microphone, I end up starting to beatbox. Not the best thing to do. Not in particular because I'm not particularly good at beatboxing. I just like doing it. Yeah, Bizzle, not only is she not innocent, you encourage her a lot, so you're pretty much a co-conspirator. You're both up on charges. Don't ask me what the charges are going to be, but yeah. Whatever they are, I'm definitely sure you're not innocent. We'll just do as the Inquisition does and just make up the charges later. Or don't. Just kind of go with you're guilty. The only way to redeem you in the eyes of the Emperor is to burn. Who doesn't love a little bit of heresy? I mean, it keeps the world going.
Let chaos reign.
That's the one, Bizzle. Let chaos reign. Yeah, more malicious has done a couple of sane bites for me, which I'm a big fan of. Right, if the camera will focus, you can see here on the rim of the shoulder pad, I have messed up like 4 times, but I'm not going to get stressed because we have both the black and the grey to go over and repaint that. To be honest, I should have gone ahead and done all these flames in before I bothered with trying to freehand onto the shoulder pads. That's on me. But I'm not working today, so I'm here for the long run. So I have plenty of time to go back and fix things. Those little bits of fluff get caught on minis. I'm looking forward to getting this army finished, bringing it outside and just varnishing it within an inch of its life. Because it's nearly all plastic, so at that point, when it's got a good bit of varnish on it, you can just do whatever you want with it. You can just throw it all in a bag to carry it around. I mean, I wouldn't, because I'd be terrified. But you know, you could do it. Hey, it's Lorcan. How we doing, Lorcan? Yeah, I do plan to do some muzzle heat on the actual flamers themselves. So the actual colour on them is actually done by putting lead belcher on it, just kind of your normal kind of standard metal colour. And then there's a contrast paint called Nazrak Yellow. If you paint that on then after it, it comes across as very much that kind of goldy colour. So what fun things did people get for Christmas? Let me know. Let me live vicariously through you. Have you heard of our Lord and Saviour, the Emperor of Mankind? Fancy new Macross toy? Which one, good sir? I got the mic I'm currently talking to you with, which was quite nice. And I got a couple of things off my my Amazon wish list. Hopefully get me started back into reading again. I got a fancy new airbrush. Horror books. Didn't know either of you were horror fans. Or is the horror kind of what Emily did on her holiday? Air fryers can be good. Some people swear by them. Splatterpunk. Now that's not a phrase I've heard before. Is that like a horror cyberpunk crossover? Lorcan, that sounds so very cool. Yeah, Mental Sprue has written kind of for a few compendiums of various different types of novels, sci-fi novels, and what was the other more recent one? Commercial flops. Cruel. Do you know, I never liked Cruel. I know it's got a cult following. Maybe I just didn't see it back in the day, and that's more my issue with it. But yeah, I never got the attraction. But that's okay. Okay, so splatterpunk is just excessive violence. So is that kind of like Saw type stuff? Can't watch it, but you can read it. Okay. Yeah, I find a lot of those older movies, and I find this now, particularly because I'm trying to show them to other people, especially younger people. that unless you have the nostalgia of remembering to see them and kind of imagining that whole series, it's hard to get into them. Whether just kind of thinking, oh, that's a bit of cheese. So we're saying is Mental Sprue, Krull is to blame for you. Okay, so splatterpunk is a type of body horror, but it doesn't want to call itself torture porn, which is what I've normally heard things like Saw referred to as. It's a good point, Lorcan, there. You can like something and not regard it as a good movie. I remember when I was in my teens and a few people I knew all had aspirations of becoming the next great thing in directing and movies and stuff like that. So when we'd be kind of like, oh, you know, what's your favourite movie? They'd always be like, oh, we have to, you know, the classics. It'd be like listing kind of Citizen Kane and stuff like that. You know, it's just like still Grosse Pointe Blank and the Blues Brothers and things I just really enjoyed. I can appreciate something for its artistic merits and all that sort of stuff, but I can also just kind of go, you know, I'd like to have fun. And this is how I have fun. We're gonna Mental Sprue is now mentally starting a podcast or his own stream about how to defend movies he likes. Mystery Science Theatre. Do you know, I don't think I've actually watched a full episode of Mystery Science Theatre. I like the idea of it, and I've seen many clips of it that would have been fun, but I don't know if I want to watch an entire movie kind of dubbed over by people. As funny as I believe it would be. Tiny, tiny flames, painting tiny flames. Tiny, tiny flames, we're painting tiny flames. Tiny, tiny. I think for the next stream I'm going to have to take a break from painting Legion of the Damned and paint something else. Is Mystery Science Theatre, is that all on YouTube these days? Or is it still actually kind of streamed properly somewhere? I presume all the stuff that they actually do is out of copyright, or they otherwise think they can get away with making fun of it. You're not going to see them like do a Mystery Science Theatre of like The Matrix or Jason Bourne or something like that. Yeah, we're starting to get rolling on our flames. Getting back into the swing of things. I think I got spoiled by how easy it was to do flames on the dreadnoughts, because they're just huge. Okay. Lorcan dropping the facts on us there. Thank you, Lorcan. Okay. Yeah, Godzilla has picked up a lot recently. But I'm a big fan of the Monarch Monsterverse movies. I do like a good kaiju. Glad the decals are working out for you. Willow has stolen it. You just can't trust kids. I blame the parents. I've seen trailers for the new Godzilla. Godzilla -1, I think it's called. And to me, it's gone looking back more towards the derpy Godzilla. I really like the Godzilla from like Godzilla vs. Kong, that sort of thing. That was the one I was a fan of. Yeah, no, so I haven't seen Godzilla -1 yet. Okay, Lorcan, that's some pretty good praise. And Emmy, I'm glad that there's work coming in. Maybe people have kind of gone, listen, after Christmas, we should really get our acting gear. Contact a true professional. Yeah, I don't go to the cinema much these days. Mainly because people are the worst. Can't stand people. So I'll probably have to wait a good long time until it's actually on some streaming service. You ate Christmas leftovers already? Looks like someone didn't make enough Christmas dinner. Remember going to the cinema once and actually scaring the staff because there was only two of us in watching Star Trek Nemesis, and I think the staff thought there was nobody in there, so they were like stood in the doorway having a chat. There was only two of us in the entire place, and we were like, can you keep it down? And they were like, fuck, there's someone there. I still have some leftover handmade stuffing, so I'm happy out. Nemesis was such a bad movie. But back then I went to the cinema a lot. Do you know, I haven't even got to Picard Season 3 yet. It's one of those things I want to get to, but it's so slow paced. haven't even gotten to the Strange New Worlds. So, you know, well behind on my Star Trek curve. Oh, controversial, someone preferring Discovery. That is not a well-liked show. This is a safe place, Nagel, you're okay. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of, but it did have was it Michelle Wing in it? As the Empress? I'm a big fan of hers. Flames, so many flames. That's the shoulder, the one that we actually have repainted at the start because it had gotten all messed up, but it's all dry now. Michelle Yao? Is that what her name is? Why am I... who's knowing? Getting my names all mixed up. So, in Crouching Tiger, since we're talking about it, I don't like a lot of the wire work. Like, some of the fight scenes and the story are incredible, but a lot of the wire work, like when they're jumping through the trees, stuff like that, just doesn't look good to me. Now, I don't know if there's a way to make it look good. It just didn't appeal to me. But you got those same actors, and when you put their feet in the ground, you let them loose. Poetry in motion. So another one came out around that time with Jet Li. I think it was called Hero. I think I prefer that one more. Hot takes. Hot takes and painting. Oh, we've set off mental screw again. Is your brain just naturally wired to put everything into an essay form now? Did wonder what was in that jar last time I was down Middlesbrough. Jeez, that seems like a long time ago now. I'm just gonna finish this shoulder pad and one more, and they'll all at least have some flames on them. Now take a little break to get some water, maybe turn my spine into a shape that it's meant to be in. Oh, thank you, Bizzle. Probably. I'm actually west of Dublin, Lorcan. So far west, it's actually out of Dublin. Which is why I don't attend any of the Battletech nights. I'll hydrate in a moment. This is my normal speaking voice. For the Emperor. Dun, 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 dun. What is that from? That's probably from a game. This is much like my normal painting sessions, but rather than listening to the voices in my head, I'll have you folks to talk to. Oh yeah, your stream. I did mention you were a streamer earlier. Hail Hydrate. I'm gonna steal that one. I'm gonna steal it. Amanog, can you do that thing I love you to do? You know that thing. Go on, you know it. It makes me so happy when you do that thing you do. There you go. Go follow Evanog out. She's lovely. Can never drink enough. Unless you're full, in which case, don't. The lack of cross-platform play in Baldur's Gate vexes me greatly. Bizzle is part of my normal gaming group. So normally we played lots of games together, and when Baldur's Gate was coming out we were like, oh yeah, got this for days, and then they were like, no cross-platform for you. Just happy little axolotl noises there from Eminok. Eminok, part axolotl, part streamer, all awesome. Now it's too late to rebrand yourself now, Eminok. How's the sound? Is it? Mental Spirit was telling me earlier it was coming out a bit quiet. Played with a few of the settings, but I don't know. No one else seems to have had an issue with it yet. Hopefully there's no echo or reverb or anything like that. Who would dry brush with corporate black? That doesn't make any sense. All good, people. All good. All good. I was trying to find where I left my water. I made sure to fill it up because I knew Andy would give out to me if I didn't. We have achieved water. Yeah, my laptop's not great. Oh, it's zoomed right back out. That. We're now sponsored by Artis Opus. We're not. We're not at all. My only sponsorship is my patrons. But I did get gifted some Artist Opus brushes. Which go down to like this 000, 000, which is just like a few finest human hairs. So they're pretty crazy. It does come with this stuff, which is meant to be conditioner for brushes, which sounds a bit crazy. That smells rather nice. It's meant to be for cleaning brushes, you know, something I don't often invest in. Triple zero is just bonkers. What else did we get? So for the Legion of the Damned, we now have a Primaris chaplain on a bike. Although I want to make it so his foot is up on the bike. I don't want him standing still. Yeah, that should be a bit of fun. And then we got the Catan Shard of the Nightbringer. You got auto-modded. Oh dear. Yeah, so I've got another Catan to come up, so that he'll be painted up in spooky colours. And then I got a very fancy airbrush, which is totally wasted on me because I'm rubbish at airbrushes. Look at that. Like a gun case or something. So it's a new Iwata airbrush. So I'll try. I'll try to do some super close details on it, but we'll see how that goes. It's going to be interesting. It comes in this very metal case, which you could knock someone out with. I thought it was a giant hip flask when I was being handed it to me at first, and I was like, it seems like an odd choice for someone who doesn't drink, but sure, we'll go for it. I don't believe in practice. I get it right first time or I don't. just spray it up and dry brush it down and use it some scenery. Seems like a perfectly good idea. Right, so we went from having one person in this squad with flames on their shoulders to now having the entire squad with having flames on at least one shoulder. So that is a good start. So what we might do is try wash them down. And I'm not going to use my Series 7 Winsor & Newton brush to do that. I'll use some crappy throwaway brush to do that. Because the last thing we want to do is use good brushes. I'm terrified of using good brushes in case I ruin them. Let me take them out for small things. So if you see how these minis are set up here at the moment, if we actually work from the back forward, then we'll be using the ones that have had the most drying time. So what we'll do is shift these forward a bit, and just swap them around a bit. So now the ones at the front are now the ones who've had the most time to dry, and we're just going to do our usual Cassandra yellow. Yes, for those wondering, my poor abused palette has not been cleaned. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Wind's picking up something fierce outside. That's me shaking the paint, by the way. Before I get some comments that get caught by the auto mod. Okay, Mental Sprue, thank you for joining us, and I will hopefully speak to you soon, buddy. That work thing is a killer. Do so dislike when we have to do it. I am probably going to try and get the yellow on all of these shoulder pads at least before I sign off, as I am not working today at all. I think this phase is a fairly quick and simple one. We're just basically tinting all that white that we put on. As while some flames do come in as that kind of bright white, it's not everything, and I'm not exactly aiming for realism on these. So there's some bits of cleanup I'll have to do on the around the rims of the minis, but I'll probably do that off screen for next session. We'll see where we are. But as I said, next session we're probably going to try paint something different than Legion of the Damned. Might dig out some Battletech. Right, what else could we do? Got my weird pastel Eldar there I could work on. We have choices. We have options and we have choices. Anybody wondering why I'm putting the mini upside down is when you're painting on colours a lot of the time like this, the majority of the pigment ends up where you end up pulling the brush to. So obviously I want the yellow to be further up. That's why I keep pulling it that way, so the most pigment ends up down towards the end. Anyone else got any good plans for the rest of the day? Bizzle and Eminog are off to Baldur's Gate. I'm going to try recover some of my house from Christmas. It's still a slow amount of recovery. Well, thank you. That cap's just made it look like you were really concerned. New Year's Eve is such a non-event to me. I just don't rate it. I think my kids like it because they get to stay up a bit later, but that's about it. I gave up on making New Year's resolutions and all that sort of stuff. The year 2000. That sounds like a good way to spend that. Having a party with some wonderful people. Mac in this case is a different Mac. Okay folks, I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. Unless people think I should actually do the eye lenses. Should I do the eye lenses now? A lot of tiny white on them. I might leave that till some other day. People have plans and things to do. There we go, we have these looking much more ready to actually join my Legion of the Damned. I have all the time in the world, actually. Do the lenses. Okay, we're doing lenses. Let's get out a smaller paintbrush. I'm already doing it. Calm down, Bizzle. It's alright. Righty tighty tighty tighty. Alright, we're going to need some more white for this. We're just going to need a touch of white though. So all I'm doing for calm down, Bizzle, I'm doing it already. All I do for the lenses on these marines is I actually put in a tiny drop of white into them, and then I come back with some contrast warp lightning and glaze that in. And the odd one I might come back in with just a touch more white, just to reinforce that brightness. We have to try and do this while avoiding putting our fingerprints on the shoulder pads, which are still drying. Step 1. I'm going to do 20 of these lenses. Right, so hopefully by the time we're finished doing all the white, the rest of it will have actually dried. And we'll see if we can actually do some, actually cover the lens in. And some people go ahead and they paint the iris, and the eye, and eyelashes and things on figures, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get how you do that. I forgot that one actually has some details on his leg. I'm going to put them off to one side so I remember to go back to those. Try not to hit the mic with the paintbrush. Tell I'm concentrating. Everything gets very quiet. So these lenses will have a wash of warp lightning glow put over them. So it'll be a green. Which still helps it pop, but so I always think white is a great base colour to start on these sorts of things. I want to give them a couple of seconds more to actually dry, but while they do that, I'm just going to pop the Cassander like yellow on the leg of this spacer, because he's the only one that actually has flames done on his leg so far as well. The others will be having more detail added to them in time. But for the moment I just wanted to get them up to a kind of a minimal playing standard. What I would consider a minimum playing standard for this army. Hey Meatball, how are you? How are you enjoying your festivities? Hope things are going well. Welcome in nonetheless. We're ticking along. We've been putting a lot of paint down on some Infernus Marines today, so we're getting them sorted. Tesseract glow, not warp lighting at all. number 4. Let's use a bigger brush for this. So we want to make sure we wick it in. And now I'm going to give a nice little glow. Doesn't stand out too much and wreck the rest of the mini, or detract away from anything, but when anyone looks in, they get a nice little look of it. It really tints down that bright white. There's a bit of a pool in there. Yeah, like pretty much any of these colours, you want to make sure there's not too much of it. Painting off screen again. Oopsie daisy. With the white being so bright, you can just let the tesseract glow, just kind of go onto the darker edges, and it gives it that kind of that look that it's kind of lit from the inside. Like the inside of the armour has its own little glow. I get you indeed, buddy. I get you indeed. Anyway, imagine me giving you a fist bump, Chief. Right, so there we go. Luminous green. Yeah, P3 paints have some really lovely paints, but I don't think I actually have any of them in my collection. My collection is one of those that's kind of built very slowly over time, just with random stuff. There's our eye lens with a vague glow to it. So there's two things really to do on these left, two important things, for me anyway. One is to do the muzzle burn, so I want it to look like that flamer's being used and that heat shroud was actually taking some heat. So the more heat would obviously be at the end there, so that's going to be kind of a mix of blues and purples to kind of put a gradient on it. And the other one is all these pouches on the back. Oh, focus, focus. The butts kind of like wear and tear on the leather to make it look like they've actually achieved something. And most of that is actually done with taking the original paint that I put on there and then adding kind of a bit of a white or a bit of a bone to it, kind of darken it up a bit, and then add some more onto it, kind of put it around the edges and the hard points where it might have frayed and stuff like that. So I will say again to you, my good peeps, will I continue? Will we push on the stream? So far we've done 20 eye lenses and 10 freehand shoulder frames. Well, Eminok's got her hot water bottle, so she doesn't mind. She's like, oh, good, go. Any other choices? He says, trying to find his yellow paint. No, his yellow paint is brown paint. Good lord, does anyone remember what brown paint I used? Oh, I found it. You can do it! Purely seal script all the way. Just like individual wording of letters, yeah. Each one. They're not word bearers. So I remembered which brown we used. We actually used this it's German camo brown. Which again, don't know how it got into my my collection, but there it is. I'm probably going to use some bone white to tone it down. Alright, we'll do a little experiment with this. See if it works. If it doesn't work, ah well. We will move on. There's always the next day. Okay, so we got this brown and this bone colour on the old palace. Try and mix some of them together and make it a much lighter colour. Right, so we see here we've got the edges of this holster, where the leather would get worn a bit more. And you don't want to highlight every single edge, every point of the edge, because things don't get worn like that. Just put a few kind of random splodges here and there. There we go. Focus. Curse you autofocus. Yeah. Makes a bit of a difference. Basically no one's going to see it, but we know it's there, and that's the important thing when it comes down to that sort of thing, isn't it? For some reason I'm trying to use a paintbrush roughly the size of Idaho to do this. And for those of you not aware, Idaho is not a small place. It's all about just touching those edges. You don't need to get all the paint on, you just want to get just the tip across the edge. So it wicks up some of that paint. Saying just the tip in a painting thing, it's a valid choice, Emmy. I think. So I'll have to choose a colour to go with the purity seals here. Again, painting details nobody else will ever see. random directional scratches on some of these just to give some life to it. So we don't know what way these minis would have been, or these minis, I suppose, when you're talking about them like this, what way these creatures would have been fighting, where it would have scratched, where it would have worn down. And just a couple of little scratches here and there just to make a difference. If something goes where we don't want it to, well, screw it. Happy little mistakes. It's so quiet when I'm talking to myself. 4 to go. Oh, 3 to go. I've already done that one. Huzzah! Listen to the smoky soothed sounds of painting with Mac on Silent. And there we go, the last one. Okay folks, we are actually coming up towards 2 hours now, which is by far the longest stream we've done so far. So we're going to be calling it there for the day. Excuse me, that's my knuckles. Okay, it's been a pleasure having you all here. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And I don't know if I can have anyone on to do we have anyone on to raid? Who are we going to raid? Anyone have any thoughts on who we should raid? Yep, thank you for coming along folks. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. We got some good models painted on. Good amount of work done. We had some controversial hot takes. And we had all the rest to go along with it. Right, who do we have to actually raid? Who might be suitable to raid? There we go, we're going to raid Buddy Minis because they only have 6 people on at the moment. Let's see if I can set this up. Okay, thank you all for coming along folks. I'm going to raid away and I will speak to you all soon. Take care.